Thank you for your prayers. We're coming to the end of the liturgical season, and it's also not just the end of liturgical season, it's the time when the church asks us to think of the end of life, to think of those who have died. And during this month of November, we remember all those who have died and ask the Lord to help us to one day join them at the banquet in heaven. But it's not only the end of the liturgical year, it's also the end of a calendar year. And tonight, we set our clocks back 1 hour, and it's the end of the wonderful time of summer and daylight savings now, and the days are going to get darker, and the light is less and the night is longer. And it's the end times. And so it's appropriate that we think of these things. And as we think of the end times, we also think of the fact that things are moving quickly, that life speeds by very quickly. And the older we get, the sure thing is that, yes, life is going by very, very fast. And we think of the fact that someday we're going to die. And what is after life? What happens after we die? And the Sadducees, you can remember, they don't believe in the resurrection because they're Sadducees. Sadducees. The Pharisees believe that there is resurrection. The Sadducees are Sadducees, okay, because they don't believe in resurrection. And so they live in this moment, and this is it. There's nothing left. And they're very much about making and getting the best out of life now. Be glad, rejoice, and eat, drink, and be merry, and living in this present moment. And so I was just thinking out loud with you, which life is real? Which life is real? This life or the life to come? Which life is real? This life or the life to come? And the Sadducees were focused on, well, if there is resurrection, what happens with this guy? You're talking about marriage and remarriage and all that stuff. And they were not able to see what everlasting life might be like. It's like questioning, in the next life, are there street lights? Are there lawns? And who's going to mow the lawn? And who's going to change the street lights? And so they were getting into those kinds of questions, and Jesus says, no. Oh, you see, God is God of the living, not the dead. And so I think the answer to which life is the real one, this life or the next, the answer for me is it's both. It's both are real. And I believe that the way we live this life lets God know which life we choose when we die. You see, if we go through life living like there's no life beyond, which is what the Sadducees did, and atheists and materialists would do, then you're looking in and thinking about you and about yourself, and not necessarily looking out and seeing that there is life beyond me. So the person that's living a life that's negative and finding fault, and a person who's criticizing, and a person who's complaining, a person who judges others and points fingers at others, that's hell. Those people are hell to be around. And they're making the choice of what kind of life they want to live after they die. They're going to go to hell because they've made their choice clear. This is what I love to do when I go through life. Or, if we live a life as it's exemplified in the gospel, a life of love, a life of service, a life that looks after one another, a life that wants to look beyond the self, to feed the hungry, to clothe the naked, to recognize that life isn't all about me, it's about us, and it's our common union. And when we're looking after one another, that's heaven. When we're looking after one another and taking care of one another, that's heaven. And God knows what our choice is. And God's clear about that and wants to fulfill our choice. And so, that's where we end up. That's where we go. And the Sadducees' foolish questions about who changes the light bulbs and who marries who or whatever, it's all in God's hands. And God and Jesus says clearly, I am the God of the living, not the dead. So, you may be in a living hell, or you may be in a living heaven. You may be acting as if I want that wonderful gift that Jesus promised, the gift of everlasting life. And I want to live like I'm there already. I love St. Catherine of Siena because she has this wonderful quote that I just always love. She says, when you're in heaven, it's heaven all the way. And when you're in hell, it's hell all the way. So, the choice for us, we have a choice. Where are your actions saying? What is your attitude saying? Where are you headed? The God of the living or the God of the dead? Who do you worship? Which life is real? Amen.